advanced vocabulary.
Can't be that hard to stand up.
It's hard to believe Walt Disney Studios will be celebrating 100 years of creating animated shorts and films that have been cherished and loved by all generations since 1923. It's also hard to believe that even though we associate Disney as a huge corporation that will soon probably take over the world, it's easy to forget that Disney had its ups and downs throughout the years and almost went bankrupt. The fair place to begin is with their shorts, and after years of making shorts such as Steamboat Willie, Walt Disney began to work on his most ambitious project, a fully featured animated film. Snow White would become a critical and huge success, becoming one of the most popular films of 1938. And the profits used from the film would be used to by the studio in Burbank, California. But the film was actually a huge risk as no studio had decided to make an animated feature film, and many people at the studio and in Hollywood titled it Walt Disney's Folly. This would kick off the Golden Age, which consists of Snow White, Pinocchio, Fantasia, Dumbo, and Bambi. None of them would be as huge a success as Snow White and the Seven Dwarfs. Fantasia received lukewarm reviews when it was first released, and the film was supposed to bring respect to the art of animation, but due to reviews and stuff, it didn't really happen. Soon the wartime era would begin, and with America's contribution to the war, many animators had to go and give their contributions for America's efforts to win. None of these films were major successes and almost caused the studio to go into bankrupt. So they went to their roots and made another fairy tale. Cinderella was a huge risk because if the film had failed at the box office, it would mean that it would be the end for Disney. So they put in all their hard work to make a film that was going to stand the test of time, which paid off as the film was adored by critics and received many honors and many award nominations. And profits from the film would be used to help start Disneyland's building. And it would also kick off the Silver Age, where many classics we see today would be born. The Jungle Book being the last film to have Walt Disney's personal touch on it before he passed away, which would then lead the company through the Dark Ages. And one of these films within the Dark Ages would actually be considered the nail to Disney's coffin if it actually succeeded in doing so, which is The Black Cauldron. It is Disney's darkest film to date and was actually beaten by the Care Bears movie at the box office, and it wasn't even distributed for home video release until 10 years after it was originally released on the big screen. And with the help of Michael Eisner, the newest CEO of Disney, they were able to breathe in new life to the Disney name with The Little Mermaid. It was an instant hit, receiving positive reviews, and became the highest grossing animated film at the time of its release. It captured audiences' hearts with its Broadway-like songs and empowering characters like Ariel, who would go on and start a new mold of Disney leading ladies, who would become more rebellious, independent, and intelligent. The Little Mermaid would also hit off the Disney Renaissance, which is considered to be the best era of Disney films, with many hits coming out of this era. However, it wouldn't last for long, as the last few films would begin to not make as much as its predecessors. So it was back to square one, starting the experimental era. Now, films in this era didn't do as well as the films in the Renaissance because the art of 2D was slowly dying out, and the art of 3D animation was coming in with the success of films such as Toy Story and Finding Nemo. And the last three films of the era, we can see that Disney was starting to try out that formula with 3D animated films, but they didn't do as well as its predecessors. So they decided to go back to their roots and make another musical fairy tale. The Princess and the Frog would soon be one of their last traditional 2D animated films, and would introduce Disney's first African-American princess. It would also kick off the revival era, where we would see Disney make the full transition to making fully 3D animated films, with their biggest success being Frozen, as it is now known as the highest grossing animated film of our time. And we can see that there's a possibility of a new era starting with Wreck-It Ralph, with Ralph Breaks the Internet, and a possible new decline as Disney focuses more time to its other projects. In conclusion, Walt Disney Animation Studios has had its ups and downs with many threats of bankruptcy and closing its doors forever. And it hasn't always been a powerhouse studio that we associate it to today. And that Walt Disney Animation Studios has progressed both character-wise and animation-wise by creating more rebellious and independent characters like Ariel, and from making the full switch from 2D animation to 3D animation. I thank you for your time.